Now, some people would say that this is a photo of an actual Sasquatch. As you bring it in and you look at it closer, okay, yeah, it does have some of those images. But, quickly looking around, you can tell that the camera is pixelated because of the low light. And because of that, I'm not one of them. The camera or the light is so low at this point in time as I'm walking back into the woods that the camera is just basically it's reaching out trying to grab whatever little morsel of light it can in the sensor to give some kind of image. So if there is something there, I'm looking for something to be pretty definitive. I'm not into blob squatches or, truthfully, like I said, this kind of video, a reasonable person would have more than enough reason to question what's being seen here. With that said, if somebody does happen to see something that maybe I didn't catch, I will go back and inspect it. I'll look it over and I'll come from multiple different angles on the image to see if I can pick up exactly what they saw. But it's difficult to be conclusive. So in this case here, the video captured by the camera, at least in these low light episodes, just I didn't find anything conclusive in them. Okay, there was a couple captures while using the flashlight, and I'm pretty much certain that I have that identified as being both a screech owl coming into roost and a screech owl coming off the roost. I know they're in the area. I captured one today, and these are fun little owls that are out and about. Their eye shine is white. It's not like the great golden orbs of a great horned owl. So I think that one's solved. All the audio and the videos was captured with a Zoom H1N. It was ran separately and standalone. It's the first time I've had it out. So in the settings, I had it set for MP3 to 46 kbps. I had the lower frequencies blocked. I had the shock sound turned on, and I had the auto gain turned on. I think this is dead. There went, I just heard another whistle. There went. Okay, what I'm finding in the whistle is that there are plenty of screech owls still out there in the woods, plenty of birds. Plus occasionally, I might be whistling out of my chest, having recovered shortly from a cold. So there's nothing really there that I could, definitively say, this is odd or it's strange. The more I look at it, the more I went through it. I'm pretty much convinced that the whistles are pretty much from birds.
I'm by myself, it could be a bad night, and I didn't want to take the chance. And I had a trail cam on the other side. I'll be able to see, if there's a chance. Chance. Chance.
This one was actually kind of difficult. I'm just now getting into audio. I had to reach out to somebody that I respect in the audio portion of the community. And what I knew what I needed could be done. I needed to have my voice removed so that the sound underneath of it could be heard clearly. And that's just exactly what he was able to do. Admittedly, this one threw me off, and I did quite a bit of research. At first, thinking that I was hearing a bell in the woods, and for those of you who haven't seen it, there's enough video, and I guess you would call it, written media about, you hear a bell in the woods, run. But, we've both, me and Mrs. Trackway, really looked at this one hard. And once we came to a feeling that, one, it sounded like a cell phone alert. So we went through a whole bunch of cell phone alerts. And then I thought it was one of those wagon train triangles. And I'm pretty sure that I've seen one on the neighbor's place over 300 yards away. And I thought that was probably it. But then it finally dawned on me exactly what the sound reminded me of. Keep in mind, I'm not that deep in the woods. I'm only about 300 yards from the same elevation as what the road is. And I've heard this plenty of times, and I believe what we're hearing is the springs on a Amish wagon, or on an Amish horse-drawn wagon. When it starts going down the hill, they get pretty loud. And I think I had the right weather conditions, no canopy. The air is cold. It's pretty conducive for sounds to travel. And that's what I think it is. It's one of those two. It's either the triangle or it's the horse-drawn wagon. If it's something else, if it's 3 bells or 4 bells in the woods telling me to run, well, I didn't run and I'm still here. But still, one should always be careful.
I'm not that far away. Maybe a I'm not that far away.
So this one kind of was throwing things for a loop. And like I said, technically neither the last capture or this capture has been concluded. But, I thought after comparing it to a bunch of animals using my iHunt app, that maybe what I was hearing was the social call of a young buck. Again, it was, it did get analyzed. Other people were hearing other things out of it. And it does come out in the human range. The again, the horse-drawn buggy, it could have been the driver in the sound traveling. It could have been, kind of thinking that the neighbors were calling the kids in for the night, and the last one got called for. But I'm hoping that's what it was, because I really don't have anything definitive on it. Do I think it's an EVP? I don't know. So, but all I can do is listen and wait and see. It's on the radar. Hopefully, I'll capture it out by the road, not out in the middle of the woods somewhere. If this would have happened and I was, if I was 600 yards in the woods, I think it'd be a much different story. I don't think I'd be going back ever. So, there you have it. But I'll put things together and let you decide. So in conclusion, I did not find evidence or video capture any kind of mythical creature out in the woods with incredibly large feet. However, what I did do is find a lot of useful pieces of information, and I got some experience with new gear. So overall, I found the day to be a success. Starting back with the trail camera and discovering spiderweb light diffraction. Going on again to find having experienced a wiffle ball wood knock less than 10 yards away, and coming to decide that at this point in time that it's most likely the forces of thermodynamics within wood coming to play. The tree breaks, discovering those, and whether they do or do not have any significant importance. It's just you find two things that match in the woods. It should hopefully set off alarm bells to where you go back and investigate it further to find out whether or not the alarm bells are warranted. And then the coyote call, or the coyote hunter, and the coyote hunter using their own voices as locator calls for coyotes. I think that has huge significance, but hard to tell. And then getting into the life portion of the day, and learning more about the gear that you have and how to implement it, what works, what doesn't work. I definitely recommend a 2-camera system, having a separate camera running on you as well as a direct camera that you're working with, a separate audio system. I'll tell you right now, I only had my Zoom out for this outing, and already I'm contemplating getting another one. That was very substantial. It also showed some of the defects being that having to get the programming language and spun up on the on audio spectrograms, getting familiarized with that, getting more familiarized with the audio. Part of this is identifying weaknesses. A couple weaknesses that I had was, number one, the Phasm Cam I was running, but I was running as a way for me to view in the dark or see in the dark. Oddly, without the light, I think. Maybe I did have it on. I did. But just to kind of quick glance, although I didn't look at it very much, not having, a direct power supply with the Phasm Cam, that would have been great. Checking the equipment out before I went out. The big issue with why I don't have Phasm Cam coverage is because what I did was I took the SD card inside of it, linked it to my phone, and what Android does is if you unlink without unmounting the SD card adapter or whatever you want to call it, it does something to the SD card and it doesn't want to work. So you have to remount it into the phone, which I didn't take time to do, reformat it, and then unmount it, and then it'll work in whatever device you're using. So, that was a big one. Check, and recheck, all your gear before you go out. Not having a second set of eyes. Really, in the dark, I know the area. I know it well. I've done this kind of not this kind of research, but I've done this kind of activity, going out there in the dark, doing what needs to be done for years. But really, breaking the cardinal rule, I've been doing it alone, and there really should be some form of backup, phone, radio, and then backup to your backup, a second person so that they can see what you're seeing and confirm that it's there. So, that is that's actually a pretty big issue in my book. The audio visual of the live session. I was not expecting to find what I found on the Zoom. Out of the audio that I presented, there was only one that I heard, and that was that ringing, which I still believe is, and I hope, was an Amish wagon out on the road. Like I said, those things are very loud, and it sounds so similar and so familiar. But then again, saying that that's what I think it was, and proving that it is exactly what I say it was, that's two separate things. So at least that's how I felt about it. I could sit there and say, it's a phone app, it's a chuck wagon bell, it's a leaf spring off a buggy. It's so many different things, but in the end, also got to find and investigate it and 100% identify it for being what it is. That's a huge plus. So, there's our conclusions. Zoom microphones, if I haven't already said so, big plus. I'm planning to get a couple more already. That was a stellar win or a stellar hit, and it's first time out. You got a plan, stick with the plan, and see you on down the road.